Hello YouTube, it's Lion here with Hobbies and Man once again, and today we're going to be doing another manga review. Today we're going to be looking at the first half of the second arc of Shaman King, which would be the Shaman fight in Tokyo arc. And we're looking at chapters 27 to 53, which is the first half, the second half being 54 to 80. I think it's 54 chapters total, divided by 2 is 27. 27 plus 27 is 54, so there you go. I think that's right. Yeah, I think so. 9 times 6 is 54. 9 times 3 is 27. Yeah, okay. That's correct. So, yeah, quick maths, man. So, I already showed you guys the books from last time, but let me show you again. So, here's this 2-in-1 omnibus from Mexico. This is Panini Manga Mexico. And this contains books 3 and 4. The only one that's relevant to this arc is volume 4, which would be the one that has this cover, or let me see, in the original version, this cover. So there you go. It has color pages in this part of the book. I don't know how it compares properly to the American versions of Shaman King, but this one starts out with color pages to kind of explain the Shaman King summoning thing. And then the next part of the arc is contained in this third omnibus, which is containing volumes 5 and 6. So here's what it looks like from the front. Here's what it looks like in the back. Here's the spine. Here's the book without the cover. Here's the back. Here's the spine. Here's the front. Here's the card that goes inside. This is the front. This is the back. I really love this cover. I like the updated version a lot more, actually. That's my favorite. And the book, let's see, does it have any color pages? Yes, it does. There you go. These are not like comic book pages. These are more old school, just like paper with ink kind of color pages. Which maybe doesn't make too much of a difference, but it is significantly noticeable when you're reading it. If you're someone that reads a lot of manga, you kind of know what I'm talking about. And I really like this image as well. Very cool stuff. So, yeah, these are 3 volumes, and this is the first part of the Shaman fight in Tokyo arc. And yeah, so the premise of this is that the fight is on. The Shaman fight has begun. It has been organized by the Apache committee of shamans or whatever, the 10 holy men that is supposed to be in charge of it. And so it's time to start. And I'm really excited about this because I really like this part. I read it last night, which doesn't mean much to you guys because I probably won't release this for a week or so. But I read it right before making this video, the night before making this video, and it was really, really good. So yeah, there's a lot of fights, so I might not get really in-depth into things, but it's good. So the plotline starts with Apache Silver. I can't remember his whole name, but yeah, the Apache Silver, who is a member of this Shaman fight committee, and he has to find the people that are going to participate in this year's fight, in this fight for the Shaman King title, and he has to go battle Yo. So he shows up to Yo Asakura, and he's like, "Hey man, I'm a shaman. Well, I'm a Native American, but I'm a shaman, and you are being scouted for the Shaman King fight. All you have to do is land a blow on me." And Yo's like, "Yeah, bro, I got this. It's going to be easy." And then he realizes that it's not, because the shaman uses techniques that he is not aware of or that he doesn't really know how to use. So Yo only does integration techniques. So he takes Amadimaru's soul into himself and then is basically possessed by Amadimaru in a way that allows him to become a samurai, right? But Silver actually imbues spirits into a physical form by having them imbue their spirit into objects, right? So he does this, and he has 5 different objects that he turns into his spirit companions. There's Silver Wing, which is the hawk eagle character. There's Silvertail, which is a wolf. There's Silver, was it Horn, which is an ox. Actually, I think he's technically a buffalo or a bison. Then there's Silver Rod, which is the cobra, and I think that's the only female spirit that he has. And then he has one last one, Silver Shield, which is a funny little turtle character, and I like all of them. And he has these, and he is able to equip them into this like almost like power armor thing. He's basically a Power Ranger, and that's so cool. I like Silver a lot. He's a very cool character. And so he shows these techniques to Yo, and he's like, you need ingenuity to be a Shaman King. So show me yours, right? And so Yo looks at this guy, is studying this guy, and he finally realizes that this guy is imbuing spirit or shaman energy into these things that signify or symbolize the characters of his spirits, right? So he imbues spirit power into a wolf, so he gets Silver Tail. He imbues it into a snake skin or a snake fang, so he gets Silver Rod, and so Yo is like, well, I have Harusame, the sword of a samurai, and I have a samurai spirit. Let me imbue Amadimaru's spirit into Harusame, and so he manages to do the same thing and manages to create his own spirit thing, right? And so he manages to attack Silver and land the proper hits, and so he gets access to the Shaman King fight, or the Shaman fight. So he passes the test, gets the Oracle Pager, and is told all the rules necessary for him to understand before the beginning of the tournament. And so then we get a chapter where he explains this to Manta and Anna, and all of them are like, bro, what the fuck? You went and did all of this by yourself. And Anna acts jealous because, like, why do you have a people finder or a pager? You don't need that. Is it for other girls? And it's just really stupid. It's pretty funny. Although I realize that this is the case, that he has a pager and not a phone, because this is from the late 90s, and I don't think that phones were really that big of a deal back then, or at least they weren't really that popular. So it still makes sense that he would have a pager and not like an early phone, which is cool. I think it's fun. It's pretty interesting. But I hadn't really realized that was the case until later. So yeah, and so it's time for the first battle, which is Yo versus Horo Horo, who is an Ainu man, and or an Ainu boy. And it's cool. This is not the first time I've heard of Ainu, but it was definitely, like, when I watched the Shaman King manga, it was one of the first times I had seen it in anime and manga, the second time being in Golden Kamuy. But I didn't know about Ainu in general beforehand because of some other things that I enjoyed. I like international history a lot, so yeah. But Horo Horo is an Ainu, and so his vibe is different, and Silver is as well. Like, these outfits are really cool. They're not really traditional outfits, but they're inspired by traditional outfits, and it looks really, really cool. Horo Horo has really cool style, and he also has really fun ice powers, because his companion, his spirit companion, is Koloro or Kororo, who is a little Konpukir, I think is what they're called, which is a little nature spirit, and she's really cute. She's like a little, she's kind of like a Tantata from One Piece, or like, just in general, like a little nature elf, or a duende, if you know what that means in Spanish, like a little like leprechaun or something like that. And she's really, really cute. I like her a lot. She's a funny little character. And she gives Horo Horo these awesome ice powers, right? And so Horo Horo is using these nature spirit powers, which apparently are naturally stronger than people spirits, which is interesting. So Yo is always fighting at a disadvantage, or at least not always, but generally he's fighting at a disadvantage, which is interesting. But he manages to win because his skills are just better. Yo is just better than Horo Horo. And it's fun. They have this rivalry going on, and they become friends at the end, and it's really great. And then it turns out that Horo Horo has his own version of Anna, because his little sister is the same type of like woman as Anna, and she's very hard on Horo Horo, and it's pretty funny to see Yo like be like, bro, I get you. That sucks, and it's kind of funny. I thought it was really enjoyable. So yeah, then we have the second battle, which is way worse. Horo's battle was pretty fun. It was exciting and interesting and hype, but it wasn't like horrible. It didn't make you feel sad. But Faust the Eighth sucks ass, bro. Johann Faust, fuck that guy. He sucks. And so Silver actually recommends to Anna to tell Yo to step down from this fight, to forfeit this specific fight, because he won't be able to win. And turns out that he's right, but Anna is like, nah, bro, I believe in Yo, and he's not going to give up over something stupid like, this guy being evil or whatever. So Yo and Manta are waiting around the cemetery, and Johann Faust the Eighth shows up, and initially he's just kind of this weird guy. There's nothing really crazy about him, but he's like just kind of kooky. And then it turns out that he's a grade A asshole, and he's really evil. He's this necromancer. He has evil magic, right? So it's really cool that, even shamans are like waking the dead back up. That's bad, bro. But using the spirits, that's okay. I think it's fun and interesting that they do that. And so what happens is that Faust actually captures Yo in a cage of bones, and he grabs Manta, and he's like, oh, why are you a dwarf? Why are you so small? What's going on? And he starts examining him, and he like cuts open his body and starts to peel back his layers and shit, which is wild. It was crazy as fuck. But Yo gets upset. He's like, what the fuck? This is my first friend ever, and you're treating him like this? What the hell is wrong with you? He goes crazy, and their battle starts. And so Yo is attacking Faust like crazy, but Faust has a giant army of bones because they're in a cemetery. And so Yo is losing his powers very quickly because, one, he's angry, and two, he's fighting opponents that he doesn't need to fight in order to try to get to Faust, right? So what happens is that Yo ends up really weak, and he is actually having a really difficult time getting through the fight, right? Eventually, he realizes that he has to strategize. He has to change his approach, and so what he does is makes Faust angry instead. Faust takes out his companion, which is the skeleton that has like a bullet hole in its head, and it turns out that this is actually the bones of his wife who died, and he imbues her with a shamanic energy and allows her to regain a body, regain her flesh and everything, and so she is attacking Yo now. And as Yo makes Faust angry and angrier by telling him to stop playing with dolls, with toys, with things that are not real, he also starts losing his shamanic power. The problem is that Yo is significantly damaged. He's weak, and he already has lower energy than Faust, and so he eventually does lose the fight, but just barely. And actually, he almost dies, and people have to step in. Anna and Silvers have to step in and help him, and then Faust goes away, and then we have a kind of like a rest time where Manta and Yo are in the hospital. There's a bit of a time skip. It's about 2 months later, and we learn that Manta is apparently the son of a technological tycoon, and he is being forced to go back to America to start taking over the family business, and Manta just does not want to because he has finally found a place to belong, and he doesn't want to go back to his family. And so he has a fight with them, and then he goes to see Yo after he affirms that he's going to stay home, like in Japan, and then realizes that Yo doesn't want him anymore. Of course, this is not true. Yo is doing the thing where he is mean so that his friend will go away, but he actually is really, really sad about the fact that he's getting Manta to go away, but he's actually doing it to protect him, because Manta has no way to protect himself in a spiritual fight, in a shaman fight, and Yo feels guilty that Manta got hurt because of him. So then Yo goes back home to his father, Yomei, to go train in Izumo, I think this is the name of the place, in a cavern called the Yomi Cavern. And so he goes into there. It's this like a sensory deprivation chamber thing inside a cavern, and he has to survive for 7 days and 7 nights as he traverses the cavern. And while he's away, we get to see that Manta fights with his family one more time, tells them he's going to stay, and then runs out of the airport and forgot his wallet, so he has to run back. And he eventually meets up with Ryu, who is about to go on a journey to America to become a chef, which is kind of weird. Why would he go? Because he wants to be a sushi chef, right? So he decides to go to America to be trained as a sushi chef, to come back to Japan to be a sushi chef. It makes sense that he would just stay in Japan and learn to be a sushi chef from somewhere else, like a different city. I didn't really get it, but eventually Manta explains the situation to Ryu, and Ryu is like, nah, bro, we gotta go to Izumo and we gotta go to Yo, so I'm gonna take you with me on my cool-ass bicycle. And so they have a little, like, wild hogs kind of bromance ride through this... through the mountains as they go to Yo's home, and it's really fun. I really enjoy those 2 chapters or so where Ryu and Manta are talking and explaining each other, like, their lives and stuff like that. I really liked that a lot. It was fun. And then we see that at Yo's home, there's this girl called Tamao who has 2 spirit helpers, or 2 spirit friends, which are called Ponchi and Kanchi, and they're a fox spirit and a tanuki. And the tanuki even has, like, a giant ball sack, like in the mythological versions, which is really fun. I like that. I think it's funny as hell. And it's really fucking weird, but it's hilarious. I don't know. It's just, it made me laugh a lot. So, yeah, Yo is still going through the mountain. Eventually, Manta gets to Izumo, and he goes to talk to whoever's there, be like, hey, man, I'm here. But he actually gets stopped by Tamao, who is has oracled, or has... a premonition, or a, what's it called? I read it in Spanish, so I don't know the word in English. She has, like, read it in the cards, basically. She has, what's the word? She has seen, I guess, that Manta and Ryu are gonna cause Yo some problems if they see him. But it turns out that it was a lie. And so Anna shows up and she's like, bro, Ponchi and Kanchi, you got to tell her the truth. Tell her what the fuck you guys were doing. And it turns out that they were just stirring the pot because they wanted to have fun. They hadn't left the compound that they live in for a long time, and so they wanted to go out. And eventually everything's resolved, and they go to the mouth of the cave to wait for Yo to come out. And he comes out all nonchalant because that's just how Yo is. And then they have their whole reunion thing. Yo and Manta apologize to each other, and they become friends again. And then we have one last kind of thing to talk about, which is the results of his training. His father Yomei, or his grandpa, I can't remember actually. I think it's grandpa. I said father earlier. I meant grandpa. I'm sorry. But Grandpa Yomei summons all of his powers, and he does this thing called Shikigami something, and he manages to create all of these little nature spirits through putting shamanic energy into leaves. And Yo manages to cut all of them down with a single swing of sword, because his training has provided him with a brand new, better application of his integration and his spirit, what's it called? His, like, silver style technique of using his powers. And so he ends up with a cooler sword, and it's really, really good. I like it a lot. I thought it was fun. And then they prepare for battle number 3. So, yeah. And in terms of characters, we have a lot. We have Horo, Coloro, his sister, Faust and Elisa, Silver's Callium. There was another one. I can't remember his name. Of course, Goldva is the old Apache leader. Then there's Lip and Lap, who are the 2 little girls that are the next generation. And so they're sitting there with Goldva learning about the fights. Then there's Ren, who's back. Then there's Ryu, Manta, of course. Tamao, Ponchi, and Kanchi. And can't remember which one's which, but the Tanuki is hilarious, man. It's fucking funny. It's just so, like, ugly but hilarious looking. It's so great. In terms of world building, we'll learn more about different types of shamans and the different abilities that they have. And technically speaking, it seems like all shamans use the same basic abilities, but it depends on who they're friends with, like who their spirits are. That affects how they can use their powers. So Yo is mostly combatant, and then all the other ones also have extra powers. So yeah, other than that, the artwork is awesome. It's really, really good. There were some awesome panels that were just so badass. And in terms of fan service, there really isn't any. I guess when Elisa is reconstituting, she's naked for a moment, and so you can call that fan service, but I don't really think so. It's honestly more like grotesque than attractive. But you know, it's there. There's some kind of things like that. Other than that, the rating so far, because this is the only first half of the series, is a 5 out of 5. I really, really enjoyed this. The fights are awesome. It's really getting up there, and it's really, really enjoyable. So I can't wait for more. However, I'm probably going to have to wait a long time because I've heard recently that a lot of these Shaman King volumes that are printed recently don't come with that postcard. So I have to go to a physical store to look for the ones that do, and I probably won't be able to do that this year in December, so I have to wait until next year or the year after that to get around to getting them. So yeah, other than that, there really isn't too much to say. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please do a like, subscribe, and comment down below. Let me know what you thought. Let me know what you guys think about Shaman King, and thank you guys very much for watching. See you guys later.